Hi everyone, we are going to continue on with operations with rational numbers. So let's go ahead and take a look at our focus for this lesson. Our focus is to multiply and divide rational numbers or fractions and mixed numbers and solve problems involving rational numbers. And by the end of this lesson, you should be able to answer this question: what are the rules of multiplying and dividing rational numbers? Let's go ahead and talk about why we're learning this. So sometimes you need to have something that needs to be divided into smaller parts. So for example, when you divide 3 circles into 4 sections, you get 12 smaller pieces. Dividing 3 by 1/4 is the same as multiplying 3 by 4. And I want you to take a look at the image that I have down below that will show you what really gives us an image of what a reciprocal is. So dividing a fraction is the same as multiplying its reciprocal. We're literally flipping the numerator and the denominator, and that is what a reciprocal is. And remember, to find the product of rational numbers that are fractions, multiplying the numerators and multiplying the denominators, that's what you're going to do straight across. And when dividing by a fraction, it's the same as multiplying by the reciprocal of that fraction. So let's go ahead and take a look at an example. And we're first going to start with a pretty tricky one where we're going to be multiplying two mixed numbers that are both negative values. The first step that we're going to take is to change these mixed numbers into improper fractions. And I know that our denominator is going to stay the same, so I'm going to transfer that down below. And we multiply our denominator by our numerator, and by our whole number, which is 8, and then we add our numerator, which is 9. I'm going to drop down our operation, which is multiplication, and then I'm going to work with our other mixed number, dropping down the denominator, which stays the same, it's 5. We're going to multiply 5 times 3, which is 15, plus 3, which is 18. Now I'm left with two negative improper fractions. And I know right off the bat that when I'm multiplying two negative values, whenever their signs are the same, that means it's going to be a positive value. So I already know that my fraction is going to be positive. And we can just multiply straight across. So I'm going to multiply our denominator, 4 times 5, which is 20. And our numerator, 9 times 18, which is 162. Since 162 over 20 is an improper fraction, we need to take the steps in order to change that back into a mixed number. Our denominator is going to stay the same, which is 20, but we need to figure out how many times does 20 go into 162 without going over, and that's going to represent our whole number. So let's go ahead and set up that division problem, 20 divided by 162. And I know that 20 times 8 is going to be 160, and I'm going to have 2 left over. 8 is represented as my whole number, and 2, which is my remainder, is my numerator. But this fraction can be simplified because they're both even numbers. So I'm going to divide both the numerator and the denominator by 2. Transfer my whole number, which is 8. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and our new denominator is 10. So there's an example of multiplying rational numbers. Let's take a look at what dividing rational numbers would look like. In this problem, we have 2/7, which is being divided by 1 and 2/7. My first step is going to be to change this mixed number into an improper fraction. My denominator stays the same, which is 7. I'm going to multiply my denominator by my whole number, which is 7, and I'm going to add my numerator, which is 9. I'm going to drop down the rest of my problem. My operation is division, and there we go. And like I said at the beginning of the lesson, when dividing fractions, it's the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 9/7 is 7/9. And that's going to be multiplied by 2/7. And from here, we can just multiply straight across. 7 times 2 is 14, and 9 times 7 is 63. And I know right off the bat that both of these values, my numerator and my denominator, are both divisible by 7. So I'm going to divide both of those by 7. 14 divided by 7 equals 2. And 63 divided by 7 equals 9. And there is an example of dividing rational numbers. So let's take a moment to review what we went over in this lesson and to see if you can answer this question. What are the rules of multiplying and dividing rational numbers? And moving forward in these lessons, please make sure that you remember that you're just going to multiply straight across your numerator and your denominator. And also remember that when you're dividing fractions, it's the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. If you have any questions regarding multiplying or dividing rational numbers, please don't hesitate to let me know. Have a great day.